Okay, so since our last video, we finally got mirrors on this machine, which was kind of a crazy deal. I got this from my buddy Jim, this bike in Northern Illinois. It's beautiful, but I need to customize it and make it better. So today, I'm going to take this seat off, and I've got another seat. And I do have a new tank coming for this too. So before long, this is going to have a whole different look. So we're going to start tearing this seat out now and go from there. Does anybody want to comment on colors for this bike? I'm going to paint the tank and I'm going to paint the rear fender. Anybody got any 2 cents on what flavor they think it should be? Let me know in the comment section. Guy could have got a socket and made this easier, but we don't got to do easy, do we? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Other things I want to do to this bike is change out the handlebar controls up here, because these are kind of cool looking, but they're just miserable, uncomfortable to ride on. And these type of bikes typically don't get a lot of ride. They call these a bar hopper. I'm going to ride the thing, so I need to make it as comfortable as I can. In fact, when I put the seat on, I'm probably going to get some jeers from the crowd, because the seat I'm using is actually supposed to lay down on the fender. So this looks like a rigid frame, but it's a Softail. So this whole fender and this whole strut moves up and down. So I can't tie anything to the fender, because this bike has been modified enough that you can't run a stock Softail setup on it. So we're going to start with that and see if I can get this out. Oh, flinging washers. There we go, one seat out of there. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking this little seat that don't have enough padding for anything, as you can see. And my plan is to put this Softail seat in its place. So what we're gonna see is if that will work on there. And like I said, this is meant to sit lower down on the fender, but it's got a modified oil bag, and there's just no way to get down on the frame like it used to. This bike also used to have struts here that came up and held the fender, so that the fender and the frame were solid and the swing arm was independent. Well, now it's been modified to where the swing arm and fender move together. This doesn't move at all. So I'm kind of having to make things work the best I can, and we're going to see how that works. Okay, so still playing, and like I said, I'm just trying to figure out something more comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and take these springs off, and we're going to see what we can do with it. Basically today we're just kind of goofing around here at Hobson's Choice Harleys, and we're waiting for the building inspector to sign off. We are so close, guys, to being in the new shop where you saw the transmission get torn out of the special construction bike. Soon we're going to be putting that shop together. There's going to be videos of all the parts going up and everything getting organized, as well as continuing on the builds, the teardowns, the rebuilds, everything. So here's what I'm trying to do, guys, is I'm trying to get this seat right there. And if you don't think that's sexy, too bad. So I don't like the springs at all. I think without the springs and just a washer here, that should give me enough clearance for the seat, and gives me enough that when I drop the clutch, my butt doesn't come off and I don't end up sitting on the back fender like I have been doing. So I'm going to try and take the front mount off that other seat and see if we can adapt it to this mount, and then we'll see what we got to do from there. Okay, so again, we're trying to take this mount off, and I know all you true mechanics that do this for a living are laughing, saying, why don't you get a 1/2-inch socket, you idiot? Again, I've got 3 different shops scattered around here, and I don't got a complete set of tools in any of them. So yeah, this is kind of hillbilly way of doing this today, but that's all right. We're just playing. This bike is all going to come down for paint here probably in the next month anyway. I'm thinking metallic gold for the gas tank and the rear fender against all that black and chrome. What do you guys think? Give me a shout out. Let me know what you think. Went and found a 1/2-inch socket, because that's what I should have done to begin with. And if you watch the channel very long, you'll figure out that I change stuff on bikes like most people change their socks. Just about every time you turn around, I'm changing something. So that's just what I do. All right, so we're modifying the mounts from one seat to another, and hopefully this is going to work. We're not sure yet, but guess we're going to find out soon enough, huh? There's an old saying, which most of you guys have probably heard: the most dangerous part on a motorcycle is the nut attaching the seat to the motorcycle. If you don't get that, that means I'm the nut attached to the seat attached to the motorcycle. That's always your most dangerous cat. All right, cool. So that is in. Okay, so we got the mount put on this seat. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this on here like so. And we're going to put that nut down in there. We're just going to snug that now because we got to figure out what we're going to do with the other end of this. But that'll hold it. So then we've got to figure out what to do back here, guys. So if you're looking down at this angle, I got to make sure I stay off of that battery. So not much. So I got to come up with these. Oh, let's see if that's tall enough. So if it's sitting on that bolt, that's tall enough to keep it off the battery and close enough to here it doesn't look bad and still gives room for that fender to bounce around a little. I'd like the seat down, half between that and where it was. So let's see what we can come up with. I'll have to dig up some parts and figure out what we can do to make this work. So kind of nice, guys. We've got wildlife in my backyard. Those are Canadian geese heading south. Kind of cool. Between those and the peacocks, the skunks and the raccoons, we got our own little menagerie here. All right, guys, so we're heading over to the shop number 3. This is where I built my last couple bikes. Right now it's just catch-all storage until I get building number HCH. That is our HCH building right there that we should have county approval in the next 2 weeks. And I'm working out of the garage of my house. So when I'm talking about being scattered in 3 different shops, these are the 3 different shops, all on the same property, but it's 2 acres worth of scattered, and I've got parts everywhere. What we're looking for in this shop is some bolts. And the bolts got to be this size. I'm very organized, as you can tell. I will be once I get in my new shop. Okay, so what I just did there is tested my thread. So I know the bolts should be 1/4 by 20, but that don't mean they always are. So in my new bolts pile, do I have a 1/4 by 20 all thread? I do. So if I take 2 of these that are identical and they're new, and then I'm going to need 2 more bolts. So basically I'm building a tower to hold that seat up. Is this the final product of that seat? Probably not. Will this get it to where I can ride it around the block and see how it works? Yes, it will. I'm just building a little shelf for that seat to sit on right now. Unfortunately, the pan on this is fiberglass and there's no threading in it, so it's kind of hard to screw anything to it. The seat's just going to be resting on whatever it rests on. Putting longer bolts on here that I can let that seat hopefully sit on these fender washers as a shelf. And then we're going to tighten up the front washer and lock these in place and see what it does. A lot of this stuff is trial and error. I've got 35 years of trial and error. And for a long time there was more error than anything. But I can actually say in the last 10 years, my trials have gotten better than my errors. Go figure, huh? This is preliminary, see what's going to work and what's not. So what's nice about this is I can go in as far as it'll let me, and then I can tighten that nut down once I get it where I want it. So we're going to put these in and we're going to set the seat down and see where she sits. That's pretty close. Might need another inch. So my test on it is the only test you can have is where is it going to feel right when you're riding. And you know what? I like it. So now we're trying to get this just snugged down a little. And then we're going to take this one for a little ride and see if our handiwork paid off or not, or if we're going back to the drawing board. A little bit of gas, a little bit of gas. I guess one good thing about having an ugly primered bike, you ain't got to worry about gas spilling. It's not like I'm worried about the paint peeling or getting nasty. All right, you guys made it to the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please kickstart that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, comment what you guys think. Let me know if you have any suggestions for video ideas or topics you guys want covered, and I'll do my best to include those in my next projects. You guys can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, don't forget to check out the Beacons link in the description below. See you next time.